I've been experimenting with creating custom AI tools as a form of lead generation.
Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the intro. So I'm excited to be here with y'all today. My name is Niehaus. I'm the co-founder of a business called Business Video School. So that's kind of my full-time job. I'm not going to talk too much about video today. I do have some pointers and tips and tricks for you, but what I thought I would demonstrate to you is actually something it's a little bit more cutting edge than that. Now that the video is not plenty cutting edge in a lot of ways, but I've been experimenting with creating custom AI tools as a form of lead generation, right? So if you're the kind of person that likes to pull people over onto your website, collect contact information, build your email list, increase your SEO results, show up higher in the search rankings, things like that. I think that's what this is going to be really helpful for, right? So this is fairly high level. I'm going to try to give you an overview here today and kind of some next steps in terms of how you can learn more about how to do this. So to start out, I figured obviously the most useful thing here would probably be just to see what the heck I'm talking about. So let me give you a quick example here. So let me share my screen. All right, so here is a page that I built with one of these tools. So this is just a demo. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of the different ways in which you could use the tool. So let me start by just showing you an example of one of these tools. Now, this is a St. Louis area neighborhood matchmaker. Just to give you some context here, about 7-8 months ago, I started to research how to build my own AI tools, which is something obviously most people are not probably doing quite yet. And the reason I decided to do that is because I wanted to create some tools for the students inside of Business Video School. So we did that. I went through and learned how to write some code. I also worked with ChatGPT to write most of the code. So a lot of this is not something that I actually had to write myself. I'll show you that briefly here in just a second. But I was able to create these tools. I made one that writes video scripts, one that creates video hooks, and one that generates video ideas. And so those are all available for our students, and we're actually building more customized AI tools for them every few weeks right now. And so then I realized, well, heck, if this is something that we can custom build, we can make AI tools that do anything. So I decided to start experimenting with stuff that might be more useful for other businesses, right? So this is an example of that. So what happens here is you promote this on your website, right? I'll show you the kind of the outline of this landing page here in just a second. But the idea is pretty simple, right? This is an AI tool. You can build AI tools that do whatever you want, all right? So this one is a little bit more geared toward buyers. You can make versions that are geared toward sellers. And the idea here is that this is somebody who's either moving into St. Louis and they want to get an idea of what neighborhoods they should be looking at, or they're curious about maybe moving across town. Maybe it's time to move out of their starter home, or maybe they're buying their first home and they wouldn't get a sense of where they should live, right? So they come in here. The entire point of these tools is to make them very simple to use, right? So yes, this is the kind of stuff ChatGPT could do. In fact, this tool is built on the same technology. But the idea is that most people are not yet using AI. In fact, I think it's only like 20% or so of people a month or two ago had actually tried ChatGPT even. So a lot of them are still pretty new to this, right? So when you give them a really simple version of AI that they can use with just a couple button clicks, maybe type in a word or two into a box, and they get some sort of immediate valuable information in return, they're usually appreciative of that, right? So this is how this one works, right? So we come in here, first thing you do is what are your preferences? So I'm looking for, let's say something with good shopping nearby, some cultural attractions, and I like lots of restaurants, right? And you can edit all this stuff. This is all completely customizable. Then how far away do you want to be? That's an important consideration, right? Does this all need to be local? Maybe they don't even own a car, or maybe they don't mind being too far away, so they want to be, within driving distance of those things, right? So we'll say a short drive, and then anything else that they want to put in here in terms of information. Now, these tools, they're not going to really let them discriminate. That's one nice thing about a lot of these AI tools is they're sort of trained not to do those things. And so, but they can put other information in here, right? So maybe they want to put in something about other types of attractions in the area, other specific details, maybe things like handicap accessibility, stuff like that, right? Then they click Find Neighborhood. And then over here on the right-hand side, they're going to get their results. Now, this little icon up here in the top right-hand corner means that this is currently processing, right? So that's how they know that they're sort of waiting on those results. This will take anywhere from a few seconds up to a few minutes. And then boom, here we go. They get their recommendations here on the right-hand side, right? So I don't know if any of you are from the St. Louis area, but what you're seeing here is this is going to be Central West End. That is definitely a real neighborhood in St. Louis City. Clayton is just a little bit outside of the city. The Hill, it's actually right near where I live. I believe it's the only sort of intact Italian neighborhood in the whole country at this point, which is kind of cool. So the Chesterfield area, that's a little bit further out, and then downtown St. Louis, right in the heart of it all, right? Those are all accurate. There's no sort of hallucinating going on here with the AI, which is good. It does not do that very often anymore, but it is something to keep an eye out for. All right. And then the last thing we say here is we have this response at the bottom that says, don't forget to fill out the form at the bottom of the page if you'd like more info on living in any of these areas. All right. So let me check the chat if I see there was a question. So that what we're doing right now, Zoom, is just we're basically showing everybody this is an AI tool that I built that helps people find their ideal neighborhood, and we're going to use it to generate leads. All right, so that's the recommendations that they're getting from the tool. Now, you can make whatever tool you want here, right? So again, there's a lot of technical steps here. I'm just kind of giving you an introduction to this idea, but let me give you a website that you might want to write down, and that's going to be let me pull it up here. So this is where I'm hosting this tool for just sort of demo purposes. This is huggingface.co. In fact, I'll go ahead and copy this out of here for you and put it into the chat if you'd like to jump over and check it out. All right. So this is huggingface.co, which is kind of a weird website name, but it's an AI platform that allows you to experiment with new AI tools. Right. So in other words, and again, I'm going to show you a couple things really quickly, just so if you want to experiment with this, you kind of know where to start. This is going to get technical very fast, right? So this is just sort of letting you know what to do next. But the point is, if you would like to, you can come in here, you can take this URL, sign up for an account on huggingface.co, and you can actually duplicate this space. Now, if you're in St. Louis, you could just duplicate it as is, and you're kind of ready to go. But let me show you what you would do, right? So you come in here, you duplicate it. You're going to click this button. It says duplicate this space. That's going to allow you to create a copy. You will need your own API key from OpenAI, right? So you just go ahead. That's actually not that hard to do. You sign up for an account on OpenAI's website. You get your key. You copy it in here, right? That's pretty much it. Then that creates a copy of the space. You probably want to give it a new name when you do. Now, once you've done that, the other step you're going to have to go through, and this is the part that I've done a lot of the work for you if you decide you just want to copy this and kind of work with it as is you click here on Files, and you come down to app.py. This is the code for the actual tool, right? So all I would do is copy this, and then this is where it gets really cool, right? So I'm going to copy this over, and I'm going to go to ChatGPT, all right? So I've got this chat. I've kind of trained this chat on how to answer questions for me and things like that when it comes to code. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell this chat here, I am going to give you some code, use it as a template, and adjust the code so it finds neighborhoods in, let's say, Chicago instead. All right. And then I go ahead and hit enter a couple of times, shift enter, I paste the code in and I send it in. Okay. So I just want you to see this, right? Again, we got about 25 minutes, 20 minutes with each other here today. So I'm just giving you an overview, right? But I want you to see how powerful ChatGPT has already gotten. And part of why I want you to realize this is I want you to realize that this means that all of us now have access to these kinds of tools. You don't have to be a techie person anymore to be able to write your own code. You don't have to have an experienced background in this kind of stuff to be able to make your own AI tools, okay? I don't know how to write this code. This is Python, if you're curious what kind of coding language it's in. I've never taken any classes on how to write Python, okay? I did take a little bit of like, what I studied was like HTML in college briefly. I don't remember any of it. So I do have at least a little bit of exposure, but this is writing the code for you, right? So I would imagine in another couple of years, these kinds of tools are going to be somewhat readily available, right? We'll probably just be able to sort of talk to an AI and it'll create tools from scratch for us. I'm pretty excited about when that comes out because that'll make this stuff even easier. But you can see here right now that this is taking that code that I just gave it, which you have direct access to, and it's rewriting it, and it's changing the way the tool works so that now it would work in the Chicago area, right? Now, let's say you decide, I don't like the idea of having a neighborhood matchmaker. I want to have a tool that's going to, for instance, help people come up with creative ways to market their home for sale, right? So I want to appeal to people, in this case, that are selling their house, right? So think about moving. You want to maximize the amount you get and how fast you can sell the home by marketing it correctly. Try my AI tool that's going to help you do that, right? So while you do, if you want to create that, I'll sort of show you here as well. This is almost done right in that new version of the code. As I would say now, let's make a new tool based on this code that will help someone market their house for sale. They should input details about the property, and the tool responds with helpful ways, and I'd say helpful and unique ways they should market that home. Okay, hit enter. Now it's going to go through and it's going to write a new version of the code that'll do that. All right. Now, this won't necessarily work this way from scratch. You can't just go in and say, hey, make me an AI tool. It's going to do all these things. One thing about ChatGPT is that the more you talk to it, the more it remembers that conversation and kind of learns from you as you're going. So I've sort of trained this chat to know how to make these tools at this point. But when you copy the existing code and you put it in and you tell it to use it as a template, it works pretty well. And I've done that from scratch. I've done it live. Obviously, I'm not quite doing that now. But it has actually worked. It's made a completely new tool, and we've been able to copy it over, use the tool, and it's worked immediately. All right. So that's how you can mess around with this if you want. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you look at this and you go, wow, I don't want to mess with code. I don't want to worry about, putting something on my website. I have started doing this for people on the side, setting these tools up on their website for them. So I'll give you my contact information at the end of this session. If you want to reach out, you can, right? So there's ways to get this done. And we also actually created a whole course on this inside of Business Video School. So if you're looking to build this stuff out yourself, we also have a training for you. But that being said, let me talk about how you would sort of take this to the next level, right? So let's go back to that landing page that I created now that you've seen some of the steps, at least, on kind of how to build this stuff out. And so let's look at what's actually here, okay? So the first thing we have is we have a video. Now, in my personal opinion, the video is really important, all right? Now, obviously, I run a school. My full-time job is I teach people how to use video in their business, so I'm pretty biased there, obviously. But here's the thing, right? This is just a page on your website, and there's lots of benefits to having engaging content on your site. I mean, that's been pretty obvious for a long time. But one of the more interesting things about the more recent updates that Google has put out there is that they're actually starting to encourage people to build interactive elements into their website. They also keep an eye on things like how long does someone spend on your site, right? So there's a lot of different ways to think about doing this, but one way to do it would be to create a video about how to choose the right neighborhood where you want to live, right? Especially in the St. Louis area, or wherever you're serving, whatever part of the country you're in or the world you're in, right? Make a video about why, kind of the decision-making process there. And then maybe write a blog post that goes with that video. And then at either the top or bottom of that blog post, you're going to include your neighborhood matchmaker tool. And so in that video, then you're going to explain, hey, here's some ideas on how you find the place you want to live. But just keep in mind, before I get into this, we have an AI tool at the bottom of this page. All you got to do is go in. Let me show you real quick. Screen share, show them, right? Here's how you do it. Here's how you use it. You're going to fill this box in, right? You're going to do this. You're going to hit enter. Here's the kind of results you might see. And then, if you feel like you find something you're looking for, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and show them the opt-in form, right? So that's the last step there. So what that means is now I've got a blog post. I've got a video associated with that blog post, which means I'm optimized for Google purposes. I'm on YouTube, probably put that video on YouTube, right? So Google pulls results from YouTube as well. So now I'm covering that base as well. I probably put the link to that blog post with the AI tool in it in the YouTube descriptions. People can visit that page if they want to. But I've got the video, I've got the blog post, I've got the AI tool, and at the bottom I have this form, right? So that's one way to go about this. This particular demo is a little different. I'll come back to it in just a second. But what that's going to do for you is now you'll show up in search results. When someone does get to your website, they're going to spend a lot more time there. They're going to get a completely customized answer. So we're at a point in time where, yes, people are starting to realize that this is possible. AI is becoming more common, more accessible to folks. But a lot of people still don't have any idea what they can do with this yet. So they're going to come to your site. They're going to have what amounts to sort of a magical experience, right? I mean, here we are basically talking to a computer and it's giving us completely customized responses. And this is a relatively basic tool. This probably could have been hard coded. It doesn't necessarily have to use AI. But they're getting a completely AI generated response and they're getting all that from your website, right? So they're showing up, you're getting higher ranked in your Google searches. They're getting exactly the information they're looking for, even something that's customized just for them. And that's going to mean that you're going to get more leads, right? You're going to increase your search results. You're going to show up on more searches, more people to your website, and then more people filling out this box at the bottom, right? And so the idea with this particular version of this tool is that I'm going to tell them, hey, once you have those neighborhoods, once you know where at least this AI tool thinks you might want to consider, fill out the bottom form at the bottom of the page, and let's go take a look at those areas together, right? Or let me send you, probably even better is like, let me send you a list of some properties that are available for sale in those areas, all right? If it's the marketing tool for their property, maybe that's the route you're going. In that case, you just flip the script, right? You say, hey, if you're thinking about selling, fill this form out. I'll help review the marketing ideas with you and pick the ones that are most likely to actually work based on my many years of experience, something like that. Okay. So that's the SEO version. That's the showing up in search results. That's one way to use these tools. The second way is we're going to just run ads, right? So we're going to put this like it is, right? Same sort of setup. I don't necessarily need the blog post, so you could still have the blog post there if you want. And in that case, they're going to come here. They're going to again see my video. I'm going to simply scroll down and say, hey, let me show you how to use this awesome free AI neighborhood matchmaker tool so you can find the perfect spot that you should be living. You're going to check some boxes. You're going to pick how far away you're willing to be. You're going to add any additional details. You're going to click on find neighborhood, and then boom, you're going to get your results. Once you get those results, scroll down, fill the form out. Let's go take a look at those properties. Okay. So that's the landing page. Is pretty much the same, maybe minus the blog post. It doesn't necessarily matter. The one additional thing you have to do if you're going to run ads for this, though, is you're going to need to generate some graphics or some video content, right? There are going to be two different kinds of things I recommend that you do there. And that is you're going to want to have a video of you showing people how to use the tool, right? So again, just being straight to the point. That video is basically going to be, you like the easiest form of that is I just basically talking to the camera. I say, hey, let me show you how to use this awesome free AI neighborhood matchmaker. Or maybe I want a better hook than that. I might say something like, not sure where you should be living in St. Louis. We've got the AI tool. It's going to help you figure it out, right? Then I show them how it works. Then I show them, but I don't show them the form at the bottom in that video. I just tell them to click the button, sign up, and they'll get access to the tool, right? So that's like a 15 to 30 second long video, just a quick little intro and demo. That's one version. The other thing you can do here, and this is pretty cool, is you can actually work with ChatGPT as a graphic designer, all right? So here I'm going to say, I want you to create some graphics that I can use as a Facebook ad. The graphics promote a new AI tool I built that helps someone find their perfect neighborhood we'll just go with Chicago in this case. All right, let's see what it creates here. Now, this is really cool. You're going to sort of see here in just a few seconds, I'm going to be able to create some completely customized graphics from scratch, assuming that this is available and working for us here. It sometimes takes a second. And then I can actually talk back and forth with ChatGPT and get it to make changes to those graphics, get it to make new versions of those graphics, right? And so this is really handy because yes, this will eliminate the job of some graphic designers, right? I think it'll make other graphic designers a ton more efficient because now they can just sort of talk to these systems. They're still the ones that know what looks good, what's going to get people's attention, engage them, all that kind of stuff. But in a lot of ways, this also means you can just create stuff from scratch on your own without needing any sort of professional help. Maybe not even needing to go into Canva. Now, there's still a reason to kind of go into those graphic design tools. But here you go, right? So what do we have here? We've got a bunch of people who are standing around a big phone with AI printed on it. And then we have some buildings that we would recognize from the Chicago area. I hope, right? I know a few of these are, I'm not from Chicago. I know the Bean there. I think that one looks familiar, right? So some of these look familiar. That's probably a good sign. If you're from Chicago, you can let me know if this looks accurate or not. But the point is, somebody who is from Chicago, their eyes are immediately going to be drawn to the elements that are recognizable for them, right? Especially something like this, the Big Bean sculpture. That's something I think most people have seen at some point, even outside of Chicago. And that's going to stop the scroll, right? So and then we say, okay, let's just tell it to make some more, right? Make a few more. Feature excited people finding their perfect Chicago neighborhood. All right, so we'll see what else it creates. So all I'm really kind of showing you here at this point, I mean, obviously this is the process, right? You can duplicate what I'm doing. It is kind of shocking, I mean, there's a lot of steps here. This is obviously a quick overview, but it is incredible what you can do on your own without any sort of outside help, right? I mean, I did all this, like I feel like I'm probably a little more techie than the average person. But this is the kind of thing that I think almost anybody could do with a little bit of work, right? Just a little bit of time put in. And what's going to happen now is once I have these graphics, and here's another thing I can do while this is generating, I'll just sort of describe it, but I can put this in a second, is that once I have the graphics, I can also have it write me the Facebook ad posts for this, right? So I can just say like, hey, create some ad copy for some ads that would go with these graphics. It'll write that for me. And then all you got to do is you go to Facebook, you set up an ad, and you target the people who live in the greater Chicago area. That's it, right? Turn it on, let it run, put your little video clip in there, put a couple of these graphics, put the ad copy, and then just see what happens, right? And over time, you'll start to see which of those graphics, is it the video that's working best, or the graphic that's working best? And then what you do is you use a Facebook lead ad, right? So a Facebook lead form, or they're called instant forms, I believe. What that means is that instead of having to leave the website, they're just going to click a button. A form is going to pop up. They're going to fill that form out. Even better, the form will be automatically filled in with their contact information from Facebook. They're going to click submit, and then you're going to get their contact information. And you can just put the link to your landing page with the AI tool on it on the thank you page for the form if you want, right? So there doesn't have to be any opt-in box there. You show the ads, they sign up, they get a link to your AI tool. And now they're on your site. They're interacting with the tool. They're happy. They're getting exactly what they asked for. You just got an opt-in. You just got a lead. These are the kinds of opt-ins you can expect to get for a few dollars a piece, right? So again, you want to do this sooner than later, because the more people that are offering these kinds of tools, the less exciting they're going to be, right? So this is an early mover kind of advantage type of thing. I'll tell you, just to kind of wrap up this overview here and then see if we have any questions to finish out the session. We are doing this. Now, I'm not a real estate agent, right? So my business is a little bit different. I market to real estate agents. I'll tell you right now, there is no harder industry to advertise to, especially in 2023, because things have not been particularly good for a lot of agents. They're not looking to spend a lot of money. They get marketed to and advertised to. I'm sure you all know all the time, right? So it's a constant harassment, basically, of phone calls and texts and mail and emails and everything else you deal with. And so we're able to get opt-ins for just a few dollars a piece from real estate agents all over the country by offering them these kinds of tools, right? So we put them on our site. We say, hey, if you want to generate some ideas for videos, click here, sign up. They do. We get their contact information. It's become probably the primary way that we're currently growing our business, right? So that's just giving you kind of a little bit of an insight from my personal firsthand experience. So that being said, it's still creating this image. I thought it'd be done by now. Maybe it's creating several, because I did ask it to make a few. So we'll see if those pop up before we have to hop off of here in a couple minutes. But I did want to open up to questions. I know that this is complicated, so I am going to give you some options for what you can do kind of moving forward. So two things. One is I'll give you our website for Biz Video School, Business Video School. The company's called Business Video School. The website is bizvideoschool.com. We created an entire course on this, right? So obviously this is just sort of an introduction to this idea of having your own AI tools. But we did create a course on it. It'll take you through the entire process of building these tools from scratch for use in your own business. And then the second thing I'll do is I will give you, let me see, I'll just give you my email address here. And that's if you want to follow up, if you have any questions, if you have any, if you want to get more information on joining the school, or if you would like to talk about me just creating something like this for you. I know a lot of folks I've showed this to are like, this seems cool. I want this on my website. I don't want to have to try to figure all that out because that's a lot of technical steps. I am starting to do this for a few small businesses each month. So not something I can necessarily do for you tomorrow, but here in the next few weeks, especially after the holidays, I could probably get something set up for you on your website. So just send me an email. I'll set up a time to chat with you. I think, for now moving forward, I'm just charging like a monthly fee to have access to the tool, kind of use it however you want. And I can build custom versions as well, right? So one last thing I'll mention to you that's really cool here is that an additional thing you can do, and I do highly recommend this, is when you get the response from the tool. So coming back to this, at the end here, if you build this yourself, or if you want me to build you a custom version, you can have the tool recommend you specifically in every single response, right? So I can have it set up so it says every time at the bottom there, hey, by the way, if you're thinking about moving, you really need to talk to Nick. He is the go-to expert all across St. Louis. Fill out the box at the bottom of the page, and he will be in touch to help you take a look at some homes in those areas, right? That's cool, because that means now is that you can put this tool anywhere, right? Now you can go to lender partners and say, hey, let me put this on your website for you. It's going to increase your SEO. It's going to help you, get in front of more prospective buyers. They're going to like that, right? And then all of a sudden it's recommending you every single time. Obviously, you got to make sure they know that. You don't want to be deceitful about it. But, in that way, if anybody else decides to kind of rip you off and take your AI tool and, try to post it somewhere else or link to it in their blog post and act like it was theirs in the first place, or whatever crazy stuff they might do, it doesn't matter, because it's always recommending you, right? In fact, that would make them look pretty bad if they send somebody somewhere and then all of a sudden it's saying that they should work with you in that case. So that's one more kind of cool little tip or trick that you can try there. Man, we're so close. Look at this, man. It's like there's a tiny little fraction of this wheel that has not filled in. And I'm just really curious what else it's going to make for us, because this wasn't bad, right? This is kind of the very first attempt. But I love this stuff, right? So I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, let me go ahead and answer those for you. So monthly fee, I'm thinking probably like $50 a month to have access to the tool, probably more if you want a custom version, because there's just more management and build out that goes with that. But somewhere in that range, right? So if you're looking to have something like this on your site, again, this is all brand new. This is a side project for me. I'm just starting to kind of build this out as a prospective business. So the best thing to do is probably just send me an email, schedule a time to chat. We can talk about how we can make this work for you. But it should be really an awesome way of doing this for your business. All right, folks. So I think we are pretty much out of time. I did see the question there about an example. Email me, let's meet. I'll show you what I've built so far. Again, this is all brand new. So I do have two examples of custom tools that I built. One of those, just to give you an idea here, is a custom tool that helps somebody find potential investment properties. In particular, like it recommends the specific neighborhoods or buildings they should look for investments in Breckenridge, in Colorado. And then I have another one that we built that is more of a customized neighborhood matchmaker for a specific city, right? So I can show that to you. But again, it's all brand new stuff. I'm literally making this up as I go. I've never seen anybody else do this before. All this AI stuff is brand new as well. So I'll show you what I can. That's what I got, right? So this is, again, experimental, but it is a lot of fun, and it is something that I think is going to be a huge kind of first mover advantage for those of you that can jump on it quickly. All right. All right, cool. Well, if you have any other questions, I think I can answer one or two more, but I don't want to disrespect your time. I know we did have this scheduled for about half an hour. So, what I encourage you to do with this information, this is, again, I know it's fairly technical, but what I really think you should kind of take away from this is just don't be afraid to start exploring what you can do with these AI tools, right? I think that we are only going to see an explosion of this continue over the next few years. What is possible today is already pretty mind-blowing. AI video is going to become a much bigger, more accessible thing over the next year or two. Being able to edit things with very little effort, being able to create videos completely from scratch. If you're not learning how to use those tools, both video and AI, in the next 12 months or so, you're probably going to regret it, right? So I do think it's worth digging in, experimenting, getting familiar with this stuff, and just getting used to it, right? I think that's the first step you got to take. So that's all I got for you. Thank you so much. You do have my email in the chat. You've got our website as well. The question about landing pages, yeah. So I typically these are set up as landing pages, right? So this can either be a blog post, it can be a dedicated landing page. It can go wherever you want, but I think the idea is a landing page. The whole point is just to have a controlled environment so you can get somebody to sign up, right? So you kind of guide them right to that one opt-in box. You don't put anything distracting around them like other links or tabs, which is how I had that set up, which I think is probably a good idea. So yeah, I can help you out with that process as well. So very cool. All right. Well, yeah, thanks, Steve. I appreciate you guys having me on today. It was good to see y'all. And yeah, if this was interesting to you, feel free to reach out to me by email. Feel free to connect on social. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. All those places. If you want to look me up, happy to chat more. And yeah, thanks for being here today. I appreciate your time. I'll talk to you later.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.